Have you ever noticed how the harder you try to control your thoughts, the more chaotic they become? You push away anxiety, and it grows stronger. You resist worry, and it takes over. You fight the noise in your head, and it gets louder. What if I told you the fight itself is the problem? And the moment you stop fighting, everything you've been struggling with begins to dissolve. You're about to discover why resisting your mind keeps you trapped, and what happens when you finally let go. Because once you understand this, inner peace stops being something you chase and becomes something you already have. In the next few minutes, you'll understand why your mind isn't your enemy, and how treating it like one creates all your mental suffering. This isn't about positive thinking or managing your thoughts better. It's about a fundamental shift in how you relate to your inner experience. Because the moment you stop fighting, you discover something that was always there, waiting. Here's what most people don't realize. Your mind isn't the problem. Your relationship with your mind is the problem. And that relationship is built on one fundamental mistake: thinking you need to control it. And here's where it gets interesting. Every time you try to control your mind, you're actually making it worse. Because control requires constant effort, constant monitoring, constant intervention. You're essentially at war with yourself. And in that war, nobody wins. Think about what happens when an unwanted thought appears. Your first instinct is to push it away. Tell yourself not to think about it. Distract yourself from it. But what happens? The thought doesn't leave. It gets stronger. It demands more attention. Because now, it's not just a thought. It's a thought you're fighting. This creates an exhausting cycle. A thought appears. You resist it. The resistance makes it stronger. You resist harder. It grows even more persistent. You're spending all your energy fighting your own mind. And the fight itself is what keeps the struggle alive. Most people live their entire lives this way. They think peace comes from winning the battle against their thoughts, from finally getting their mind under control. But that's impossible. Your mind isn't designed to be controlled. It's designed to think, to generate thoughts, to process information. Fighting that is like fighting gravity. And here's what nobody tells you. The peace you're looking for isn't on the other side of the fight. It's what appears when you stop fighting. Because resistance is the only thing standing between you and the natural calm that's always been there. The moment you stop treating your mind like an enemy, everything changes. If you're still here, something is shifting. Most people will resist this idea because letting go of control feels dangerous. But you're recognizing something deeper, that the control itself is the danger. What I'm about to share next will show you exactly what it means to stop fighting without losing yourself. This is where transformation happens. If this is resonating with you, please subscribe. Here's the thing about fighting your mind. It comes from a misunderstanding about what thoughts actually are. Most people think thoughts are commands, truths, or threats that need to be addressed. But they're not. They're just mental events. Things that happen in your awareness, like sounds, happen in your ears. Let me break this down into 3 stages of understanding. First, there's identification. This is where most people live. They believe they are their thoughts. When a thought says, "I'm not good enough," they don't hear it as a thought. They experience it as truth. When anxiety appears, they don't see it as a feeling passing through. They become the anxiety. Second, there's separation. This is where you start to realize you're not your thoughts. You're the one observing thoughts. This is progress. But here's where most people get stuck. They use this separation to fight harder. I'm not my thoughts, so I should be able to get rid of them. The fight continues, just with new language. And third, there's acceptance. This is where you realize that thoughts don't need to be fought, or fixed, or changed. They just need to be allowed. You let them be there, without resistance, without engagement, without making them mean something about you. When you move into acceptance, something remarkable happens. Thoughts still appear, but they no longer disturb you, because you're not fighting them. You're not adding resistance on top of the natural flow of mental activity. And without that resistance, there's suddenly space, ease, peace. Right now, notice whatever thought or feeling is present. Don't try to change it. Don't analyze it. Don't push it away. Just let it be exactly as it is. Notice what happens. When you stop fighting it, when you just allow it to exist, does it have the same power? Does it feel as overwhelming? That's what I mean by stopping the fight. Not giving up, just stopping the resistance. Most people think acceptance means giving up or letting your mind run wild. But it's the opposite. When you stop fighting your mind, you're not losing control. You're recognizing you never had it in the first place. Here's what's interesting. The thoughts and feelings you've been fighting don't actually need to be controlled. They're temporary. They arise, exist for a moment, then fade. That's their nature. But when you fight them, you interrupt that natural process. You grab onto them through resistance and keep them alive. This is why people who stop fighting their mind don't become overwhelmed by chaos. They become more peaceful because they're no longer adding fuel to the fire. They're no longer creating problems on top of problems. And here's what's beautiful. When you're not at war with your mind, you can finally hear it properly. You can discern which thoughts are useful and which are just noise. You can respond to what matters and let the rest pass through, not through effort, through allowing. So how do you actually stop fighting? It starts with catching yourself in the act of resistance. Throughout your day, notice when you're fighting. It feels like tension, like pushing against something, like trying to make your inner experience different than it is. The moment you notice that resistance, you have a choice. Here's what to do instead. First, acknowledge what's there. Whatever thought, emotion, or sensation you've been fighting, just acknowledge it. There's anxiety, there's worry, there's that critical thought. No judgment, just recognition. Second, allow it to be there. This doesn't mean you like it or want it. It means you stop trying to push it away. You let it exist in your awareness. the same way you let sounds exist in your environment. They're just there. Third, place your attention elsewhere, not to escape, but because you have the choice. You can notice the thought is there without giving it all your attention. You can feel the anxiety without making it the center of your experience. The shift isn't dramatic. You're not suddenly peaceful forever, but you stop adding suffering on top of suffering. You stop fighting battles that don't need to be fought. And in that stopping, you discover what was underneath the fight all along. A quiet that was always there, waiting for you to notice it. Over the next few days, you'll catch yourself fighting dozens of times. And each time, you'll have the opportunity to choose differently, to stop mid-resistance and just allow what's there. It won't feel natural at first. You've been fighting for so long that letting go feels wrong. But keep choosing it. Keep practicing allowance over resistance. And watch how quickly everything changes when you stop being your own opponent. If this resonates with you, you're exactly who this channel is for. People who are ready to stop fighting themselves and start living in peace. Subscribe to join others, choosing acceptance over resistance. Hit that like button if this shifted something for you. And comment, sharing one thing you've been fighting that you're ready to let go of. The peace you want is already here.